everybody, this is your big buddy Gene Hoglan from just about every heavy metal band on the planet, and you are listening to Rockum Radio. Crank it up.
Ended upon everybody's hopes. You know, we definitely, it's a big undertaking, a tour like this, and I think it's gone smoothly. All the shows have been packed. It's been excellent. We've had a great time. You know, I mean, we were wondering, this is like the first time we've all played together in a band unit, and we were wondering, you know, is Steve gonna hate Chuck? Is Chuck gonna hate Gene? Are we all gonna like be at each other's throats and stuff? But it never worked out like that. Everybody's having a good time, and everybody just, you know, I mean, the shows have been packed. I think all the crowd has been.
Talk a little bit about the new record, Individual Thought Patterns. So we've just been introduced to these guys here. I'll ask you this because it's more difficult for them to answer, but what do you...
Hi, Gene.
Greetings. How are you? That is very kind of you. Thank you.
An honor to talk to you. Really.
The honor is mine, brother. Thank you.
You're very welcome. How are you? How is everything there?
I'm doing well. I'm sitting in a hotel, about to head back over to the venue. We're on the road with Death to All, and this is our final couple of shows that we are entering into the next couple of days here. So, it's
tomorrow is the last show, no? I'm okay?
That is correct. That's right.
Jeez. Wow. You work a lot, huh?
Indeed. Yeah. I have been on the road since February, and I really just, I have not stopped in a decade, really, but it's been since June of 2022 when kind of the pandemic sort of opened up. We got the green light to start doing a lot of things, and it has been nonstop since June of 2022. And I tell you, I spent the pandemic really busy as well. So it's been a crazy, definitely few months, and last couple of years kind of thing, but. Anytime the schedule ever gets a little crazy, I just always have to tell myself, hey man, you asked for this, when I was a kid, I've said that many times. When I was a kid and I set out on this path, it's like, I want to be a rock drummer. I want to be a metal drummer. I know exactly what I want to do. I want to tour the world. I want to play in kick-ass bands and stuff like that. And this was part of what I asked for, just be busy, make a living making music. So I never complain. I might yawn a lot, but I don't complain.
In a way, it's like a kind of bless, you're doing what you like, what you love.
Right. Absolutely.
In the world, there's few people that can do that. They're doing jobs that don't like until the last day of their life.
I agree. I understand that. And I feel very fortunate. I do feel very blessed. I do get to live my dream, and I do understand that, I'm kind, there aren't a lot of folks that do get to live their dreams. And so I applaud those guys, the guys that are out there working to feed their families and just out there just grinding to have a life, and I definitely appreciate folks like that. And that's kind of why, heavy metal is such an escape for so much of us, you work hard all week and then you go to the big kick-ass metal show at the end of the week kind of thing, or in the middle of the week, I do see that. So that's pretty good.
Yes. Gene, can you describe the experience of the Scream of Perseverance tour so far and how the audience response has been?
Well, it has been over the top amazing. Let me tell you, it's been such a great run. We've been out on the road since the middle part of May, so it's been pretty nonstop. And as a lot of folks are aware, it's when we are doing the 2-night shows, we have the first night is Scream Bloody Gore in its entirety, as well as a bunch of tunes from Leprosy and Spiritual Healing. And on night 2, we play The Sound of Perseverance in its entirety, as well as a bunch of tunes from Human, Individual Thought Patterns, and Symbolic. And so many folks come to both nights, and I see why, because both nights are killer. They're just totally separate nights. You have a few folks that are like, hey, I like the old school stuff. I go to that first night. I miss the second night. Other people the same way with the second night. But so many folks, so many Death fans are, they're like, I'm in for both. I want to see both. I want to see the brutality of the first night. And that's pretty much a straightforward, just kind of approach. And then all the crazy musical influences that are a part of the second night, where we really get to, throw our chops out there, the musical skills. That's a real fun challenge for us, and hopefully the fans like it. Like last night, we did our first night in LA, and boy, I saw a dude in the front row. I've seen this so many times since we brought Death to All out the very first time. So many guys in the front row. Last night he was in the second row. He was a little bit taller than all the folks in the front row. But he had tears coming down his face, and I actually felt bad because I caught eye contact with him, and he was having a moment to himself. It's like he was in another world, and it's always so moving. I mean, here we are playing brutal death metal, but I get moved when I see somebody having that emotion, having that moment with themselves. He was by himself last night. Like, he was not surrounded by 1,200 screaming fans or anything. He was by himself, and then I caught eye contact with him, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, he got, he wiped his face and he got out of his little mode, and I felt bad for, like, I gave him the metal horns, just going, hey, I hear you, brother, but I think it was just kind of like, took him out of his zone. So I felt kind of bad about that, but he stayed in that spot all night, and he was rocking for the rest of the night. But it's always such a good time. We try, we are pretty lighthearted guys, in the band. So it's not about all this dour death metal stuff and all, grisly all the time. We try to, it's fun having fun. So Stevie D and Bobby and Max, they're up in the front, and they are having a blast. And I think that kind of translates over to the audience, and the audience sees that energy, feels that energy. We feel the audience's energy, and it just kind of feeds off each other. And it's an amazing experience. And so many people have said, this is one of the best concerts I've ever seen. Like, this is the concert of the year. And like, for instance, Lara Christine from Dark Angel, she was at the show a couple of days ago at both shows. She's like, and she said the second show, they were both amazing, but she was like, that was literally one of the best concerts I've ever been to. She plays in Dethklok too, I mean, like, she's like, that was one of the, like, seriously, one of the 3 best shows I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty damn amazing. And she's like, I'm not just saying that. This is true. And we have gotten that from so many folks. So I tell you, if you missed this tour, man, I do not feel sorry for you at all. Like, seriously, man, if you're the guy getting that phone call the next day, go, dude, where were you? Like, flat out, you missed it, because everybody's having a great time on this thing.
Tomorrow is the last chance for the people to see you.
Yeah, man, just in Mesa, Arizona. Tonight in LA is sold out. So, I don't think anybody can just run down and
talking about Yes, talking about the tour, how has Cryptopsy participation in the tour been, and how was that dynamic between the two bands?
Oh, well, we love Cryptopsy, and they're great. They're fantastic. They just do such a great job. Flo Mounier, a legendary drummer. It's been such a pleasure to tour with our brothers from the north. They're fantastic. Their crew is great, and all the band guys are awesome, and we've had a great time together. And what a fantastic double bill for a lot of folks, getting to see Death to All, seeing some of that, seeing all the Death material, and then getting to see Cryptopsy. And they have done the same thing we are. They take one night, do the old school stuff. Second night, they do a little bit of the newer era of Cryptopsy. So, we kind of mirror each other in that way. And they're Cryptopsy. They're a legendary kick-ass band, and like I say, their Flo is a legendary drummer. So it's been a real pleasure.
Wow,
having those guys on the road. Totally.
Gene, how would you describe the chemistry between you and the other members of this Death to All on stage?
Oh, it's awesome. It's great. Like, we have a good time. We try to make each other laugh all the time. Like, if anybody who has seen the show, you see that Stevie D just gets right up to Max's ear and is just talking to him while he's trying to throw him off. Like, you'll see it. Watch the YouTube. You'll see Stevie D right in Max's face. And just having fun. Bobby and Steve play off each other awesomely. And Max has a great time running around the stage with Stevie D, and we have a great time. We like each other. We enjoy each other's company. We dig playing with each other, and that's one of the greatest benefits for us. We love playing death music for the fans, and we also love playing death music with each other. So it works out really amazingly for us all, totally. And we just try to put that good time that we are having, we try to also put that out towards the audience, like I was saying. And then, like I say, that energy just keeps going back and forth, and that's all you want as a band. Like, that's all you want to make the crowd happy. You want to make the crowd scream and shout. You want the crowd to walk out after the show with big smiles on their face going, my God, that was one of the best shows ever. And I think Death to All is doing a real good job of doing that. So that's what makes this such an exciting event. When Death to All comes to town, that's pretty cool.
Wow. Gene, what does it mean to you personally and to the band to keep Chuck Schuldiner legacy alive through Death to All?
It has, since we were able to create Death to All a dozen years ago. Chuck's music, Chuck was our friend. He was our metal brother. Yes. He was taken too early. I mean, the man was 34 years old when he was taken from us. We're 56 now, some of us, a couple of us, and that is too young to be taken from the earth. So Chuck being gone, and therefore, kind of essentially not able to produce any more new music, because he was going down, before he left this earth. So us being able to keep his musical legacy alive, the music of death, able to, getting to play death's music for people. We hear it all the time. Some of the guys roughly in our age bracket are like, I saw Death back in the day, my favorite band. I thought I would never get to see them ever again. And thank you guys for doing this. And we also have a legion of young fans, like the future of death metal, the future of death or Death to All is in good hands, because there are so many young folks out there going, I wasn't around when Death was doing their thing. So when you guys were doing your thing back in the day, I wasn't even born. but I'm a huge Death fan now. I've discovered them through, whichever album they discover. And the fact that we get to see you guys, this is, the next best thing. I mean, we do this well. Death to All does this well. I'll flat out tell you, and in the ability to be able to play all the material is important to us. That's why us doing nights like these, where we play the entirety of the old catalog, and then the second night we play the entirety of the newer catalog, more recent catalog. That's important to us to help keep Chuck's music alive. We could like, it could be like, Stevie D, you played on Human. Stevie D, you and me played on Individual. Bobby, you and I played on Symbolic. So we're just going to play those 3 albums there. That doesn't do this any kind of service to just concentrate on 3 records that we played on. That's rather abhorrent to me. That makes 0 sense to me. So we can do it all, and nobody plays like we do. So that's why it's important to us to honor the entirety of Chuck's music, Chuck's catalog, and as it was put to me by Christopher Steele, who was Chuck's nephew, who was, back in the day, and he's involved in like the Death official, socials. When I was talking to him about this whole thing, some time back, and I had mentioned that, it's important to us to be able to keep Chuck's music alive. Yeah. This is Chuck's musical legacy. And, his music is very important and his legacy is very important. And Chris stopped me. He's like, that is killer. We love seeing that. However, you got to remember, Gene, this is also you guys' musical legacy as well. You guys were very important to the, right, there you go, badass.
Legacy.
You guys were very important to Death being what it was and what it is. And I was like, my God, nobody's ever put it like that. Thank you, Chris. I was really touched when he said, hey, let's just take a moment and talk about you guys' influence on the band and you guys' impact on the music of Death. And so I was like, wow, that is really, really cool. Thank you, Chris. That was very nice to hear. And so that's one thing we also try to remember, like on Individual Thought Patterns there, I was trying to create drum beats that had never been heard before, and, trying to leave my impact on the world of drumming, the world of metal, the world of death metal, the world of music in general. That was important to me. I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but it became important afterwards. Like, hey, I've never heard this beat before. When I'm trying to come up with beats, it's like, well, nobody's ever played that one before. Throw that in there. Hey, Chuck, can you play over this? And Chuck's like, I'm good. Everything you're throwing at me, I can play my riffs over. So, don't sweat that. That's all good. And so it's our musical legacy to some degree as well. So we're really happy to come out and celebrate Death, like the music of Death. How cool is that?
The people say that personally, in my opinion, Death to All is a super solid band. It's perfect. And it's everything you need. And are there any plans to record something new, Gene?
I'm never sure how to answer that because I'm flat out. We don't have plans to record anything new. That's not really what we are here to celebrate the music of Death. Mm-hmm. And I don't think any of us are averse to it, but we've never sat around and talked about like, hey, should we do something? It's just never that subject has just never really ever come up in any kind of serious mode. Like, I mean, I'm sure we could do a live album, a live DVD kind of thing, or if we were to do a Death to All record, would it be music inspired by the music of Death kind of thing? Not sure how to approach it, and that would not be on the front of the mind of what our intent is as a band. But I'm not, the music of death is pretty okay as it is. We might not see I'm not sure the need to have Death to All, add originals into the thing, but there are some other concepts that we have kind of thought about involving some of Chuck's music that we might be able to integrate. And but hey, you never know. You never know. We've never talked about it, but you never know in the future. And
nobody knows.
I just know I know how busy I am, and I know how busy everybody else in the band is. So actually trying to physically find the time to do something like that could be challenging.
Yes, Gene. I want to know, is there any Death song that you especially enjoy playing live? What makes it special for you?
Well, I've always said my favorite Death song and my favorite song to play live is Flattening of Emotions from Human.
Wow.
What an amazing song. Sean just crushed it on that one. All of Human is amazing. That's my personal favorite Death record. It had such a kick-ass impact and on the world of drums, on the world of metal, absolutely. So I'm a huge fan of Human, and I love all of these songs. It's like I love playing songs off Leprosy as well. That's just such a solid Death record. It was well played, well produced. A lot of people said, "Oh, it might be a little too polished," but back in those days, there were no rules, like Leprosy was just a kick-ass sounding record, and it was just really solid. I really dug Billy Andrews' drumming on that. It was just really just crisp, just solid kick-ass drumming, and it fit all the songs really well. I dig Richard Christie's drumming because he's got such a crazy mind, and so figuring his stuff out is super fun. That was a fun quick little challenge. Okay, you got to get Richard's stuff down for this, and we try to do that as well as we can. And that's one thing that's important to me with this, this celebration of this music is you got to nail everybody's parts. I got to play Sean well. I have to play Richard well. I don't pay that much attention to my stuff. That's kind of on the back burner. It's like I try to relearn every lick that I played back then, but that's not super on the forefront of my mind as much as like, hey, you really got to nail the Richard stuff. You got to nail the Sean stuff. Pay a good tribute to Billy, and also capture the essence of Chris Reifert. Trying to do all 5 styles of drumming, the 5th style, mine, that is important to me, but trying to get everybody else licks down is important. So,
oh, wow.
So I dig playing all the songs, I'm, there are, like now that we're playing an entire album's worth of songs on 2 nights,
entire album. Wow.
You begin, we got Scream Bloody Gore, entire album, Sound of Perseverance, entire album. You start to see why some of these songs might not have been played live too often. It's like you get that. It's like, oh, I see this one. It stayed in the studio. All bands have that. When you have your album, when you're writing your record, you're thinking, we're going to play all of these songs live, and then you just start seeing, after you start playing a lot of them live, you start seeing which ones work, which ones don't. You see why they work. You see why they don't work. And you come to understand that when you're playing an entire album, of music, definitely. So there you go.
Wow. I have one question.
Yeah.
What's the crazy thing a fan has asked you to sign?
Their child.
What the crazy thing a fan
Right.
has asked?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Their baby.
Their baby?
Their baby. Yeah. I've signed plenty of babies. Yeah. Back up. Yeah. Little
How is
Nino.
What?
Hey, will you sign my baby? I'm like, okay, if you want. Yeah, that usually happens
No,
at the Oz Fest,
in that.
right? Yeah, but at the Oz Fest, the big concert tour that Strapping Young Lad was a part of, we signed a number of babies. There's people that brought leg bones for me to sign. And I'm like, are these human? I don't want to know. Kind of thing. Signed some crazy stuff over the years.
Wow. And Gene, do you have any special message or last word for your fans listening to this interview?
Well, for anybody who has been, like a supporter of myself or any of the music I've ever been involved in, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's always been my number one, like, task to put out killer quality metal, try to drive the genre further all that I can, and try to elevate the genre and try to add to the genre of, heavy metal, and try to be a part of its shaping and framing, like try to be the good influence on this and on that, and try to bring just always really quality metal no matter what I do. And so I just appreciate everybody's support. And if you're into kick-ass metal, then awesome. That's what I try to be a part of. Try to bring the musical chops all the time, try to always elevate myself. I try not to rest on, past, glory or whatever it is. But, I'm always trying to get one level up each album I play on, and so that's real cool. And for instance, recently, about a month and a half ago, there was released an album by the artist Bear McCreary. And Google Bear McCreary if you don't know who he is. And I and many other guest stars played on his album. It is called The Singularity, and it's got just the list of guest stars and vocalists and guitarists and musicians. Just it's pretty phenomenal, and his album is really amazing. That's one of the best albums I've ever been involved in. So Bear McCreary, The Singularity, that's the latest thing I have out. Right before that came out the Dethklok Death Album 4 album. That one's killer. Got another couple of records on the way that are coming, and everybody keep their eyes open. But definitely check out that Bear McCreary stuff. If you like some of the more bombastic stuff I've done, like the Dethklok and the Strapping Young Lad and Devin Townsend kind of music, it's in that sort of area of music. You got to have a real open mind for a lot of it. A lot of it is heavy as hell, and a lot of it is absolutely beautiful, like a Devin or a Strapping, and even Dethklok to a large degree. So, and it's the drumming's killer on it. Everybody's performances is great. So check that one out. Bear McCreary, The Singularity. Yeah, so that's and so
I will check it. Check it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Have all your fans, all your viewers, just give it a listen. Give the first 5 songs a listen. See what you think. It's a long record, so strap yourself in. If you're ready to, if you can get through the whole album in one shot, that's good work. Nice work.
Well, Gene, thank you very much for this time.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much, Gino.
I hope to see you on the road or here in my radio show again.
Excellent. Well, either or, I'm all for it. Hope to see you on the road, my friend. Absolutely.
See you.
All right. Take care, Gino. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.